Now, this session has been divided into three sessions. The first session, we shall talk on what's cryptocurrency. Second, on government versus the crypto. And third and final one, is and will crypto be a currency? So in the second session, we look at what is the conflict. Is there actually a conflict between governments versus the crypto? So when Bitcoin came into existence in 2009, the European Central Bank conducted a study on these, what they call it as virtual schemes. And the report was published in 2012. And one of the findings of the 2012 report was the theoretical roots of Bitcoin can be found in the Austrian School of Economics. Now, what is this Austrian School of Economics? These people are connected to the Austrian school. The economists will tell you, I don't have much idea on this. They say, Menger, this person is the head of this, or leader in this group. These are people who are fighting for the free enterprises. They are against taxes, they are against the control. And in fact, they can be called libertarians. Among them, this hack, who is also a Nobel laureate, published a book in 1974 called Denationalisation of Money. In this book, he is referring to issue of a money not by the central banks and another agency which will cross across the borders. And that is what he has said. And nobody thought this as an idea which can be put into practice, an utopian idea. And that is what we should be admiring, how the technology has taken this utopian idea into a reality. Again, you must remember the Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper was issued in 2008. That is when we had the global financial crisis, when everybody was crying against the economic system. And in fact, people are talking about Ponzi scheme. Even there were books written called Planet Ponzi. So that was at that time, you must remember, the Bitcoin came into existence. And in fact, in the same report I told you, European Central Bank, they say it is the starting point to end the monopoly of central banks on the issue of money. That the European Central Bank itself claims that. So I would say this cryptocurrency or Bitcoin movement is something which is moving against the establishments. It is a cyber revolt. They are telling, why should we have government? Why should the government issue money? Why can't anybody else issue money? That's the challenge they are raising against the governments and the central banks. And our Prime Minister Modi, as our president also was referring to, in the 10 December 2021, which was hosted in the Summit of Democracy, this is what he said. Must jointly shape global norm for emerging technologies like social media to empower, not undermine it. So there is a feeling that cryptocurrencies can undermine the very democracy we have built up through the years. And this is what the IMF says. Global crypto regulation should be comprehensive, consistent, and coordinated. So we should, all the countries should work together. Actually, that feeling is felt much greater now. In 2012, when the report was submitted, they said it is not going to affect the central banks. But we see today that there is a cry for a control, a concerted effect on a global level. And this is our Malayali lady, is the IMF chief economist Geeta Gopinath speaking. It says banning cryptocurrency is a challenge that they operate from offshore exchanges. So we cannot stop it here. So if you stop it here in India, people can get it from other places. She suggested a global policy and coordinated action for regulating them. But what we find is the countries are divided. on their stance towards cryptocurrency. There is a variation from banning it to accepting it as a legal tender currency. Now, El Salvador has accepted Bitcoin as their legal tender currency, and also El Salvador has set up what they call it as a Bitcoin city for mining. And there are countries which are banned. There are a number of them, but what I could specifically find the list of 8 of them: China, Bangladesh, Egypt, Morocco, Qatar, Algeria, Iraq, Tunisia, and the remaining are in the middle. Regulation. What does the regulation mean? And in fact, in America, there is a big lobby going on influencing the senators on how to regulate them. So we don't know what is going to happen. But in India, if you look at the case in India, in 2013, what RBI did was send out a caution. You have to be very careful in dealing with the cryptocurrency. That it said. In 2018, in the financial bill, it was said cryptocurrency is illegal, and the RBI sent a notification to all the banks and cooperative banks included, stating that any connection with the crypto transfer should be discontinued within 3 months. But the Supreme Court lifted this in March 2020. So as of now in India, there is no ban. It is not illegal. You can deal with it. And in the winter session in 2021, the government said it will be issuing a cryptocurrency and regulation official digital currency bill 2021. But nothing was said there with the bill. As it often happens, the government comes with new rules and new regulations in the financial bill. And the other action taken by the countries today are introducing what is known as central bank digital currencies. As for the IMF, there are 110 countries in various stages of launching the CBDC. Is actually a defense or an attack strategy used by these central banks. We see that there is more and more of these private payment systems. Say in China, there is 10 cents, and also Alibaba doing there. In America, the Facebook is talking about their own cryptocurrency in the case of Libra or DM. So the companies are trying to defend it or attack it by issuing what is known as CBDC. What is the meaning of CBDC? The central banks issuing a digital currency will be called central bank digital currency or CBDC. This will be a non-physical form and it will not be convertible into currency notes. So if you say we are already using digital currency, say for example, you have your credit card, debit card, but anytime you can convert them into cash. You can go to an ATM and convert them into a liquid cash or notes, but that may not be possible in the case of CBDC. The first country to come out with CBDC was Bahamas. It was called Sand Dollar. Second was Nigeria with e-Naira. And the third country which is doing a pilot study is China. So all the others are in the waiting list. And India has announced that it will be issuing the CBDC in 22-23. And they said it will be in blockchain. That's quite interesting. When we move against a cryptocurrency, the government is using blockchain, which is the underlying technology used in cryptocurrency. That's in a way it's good. We don't throw the baby out with the bath. We keep the baby and throw the water. It's good. You take the technology and you just discard the cryptocurrencies as such. The difficulty will be how it will coexist with the physical cash. So in a country like Sweden, where almost 100% of the people are using digital money, it is easily they can move it to the digital currency. But in India, we have people you are using these notes, and how you can have digital currency issued by the central bank at the same time, the physical currency also. Will it be wholesale or retail? Will the central bank leave it to the subsidiary banks, or will it be directly distributing it to the consumers? So that is again a big question to be answered. Centralized, decentralized. Centralized means, if you know, in the case of cryptocurrencies and the blockchain also, we have a distributed ledger system. I'm sure it won't be distributed ledgers. It has to be centralized. The question is, will it be centralized at the central bank, or will it be decentralized at the different banks? And will the banks and other payment systems also will be included? Extent of control, you must remember, if cryptocurrencies are autonomous, it doesn't know the person, doesn't look at the nature of the payments. In the case of CBDC, they can go into the details. They can find out your each move, and each transaction can be traced by them. So what extent can it be? Say, for example, in China, with their pilot study, what I learned was they were just dropping these numbers or codes, and people were using these codes, but these money could be used only for a short period, say for 1 day, 2 days. And in other cases, it could be used only in certain outlets, because certain outlets could only receive. So what is the extent of this CBDC? And what about the privacy? All our privacy can be taken away by the CBDC. Will it be in wallets or in cards? And software competency, internet availability is a big question in India. We know about income tax and the GST. The computer software is used, it has become sloppy. So what and how it will be, these are all big question marks that has to be answered by the government. So that is how the governments are dealing with the cryptocurrency, and the governments on their own and in different ways are fighting against this cryptocurrency. So that leads us and takes us to the last and third part is, and will crypto be a currency